We're live. Hey guys, woo! Good morning, good afternoon, depending on when you're catching this. Just realized that I set up my Facebook Live on my phone, and I normally would set it up on my laptop and then do IG on the phone. Either way, welcome. Couple things I just wanted to talk about right now. I just released and published a podcast on kicking off a series known as The Rant and The Rave. And the Rant and the Rave podcast series in segment out of the collection of all podcasts that I've produced is really all about highlighting things that are rant-worthy, right? But with a twist in that I've also recognized that there's really a need for another side of a rant. You know, I know we all know how to co-sign when somebody's pissed off about something, but I think it's also important for us to know, and so two things. One, it's important for us to know, how to vent, rant, which is what we call the rant, but also how to rave, how to really talk about great qualities of an entity, of an organization, of an individual that really builds them up and edifies them as well. Even in cases when you get horrible service, I think there's also an opportunity to talk about, well, if they'd done it differently, would give you something to rave about, right? And I think that's constructive. It's constructive both for us as the people who sometimes experience things that are less than favorable, right, in an experience, because it allows our brains to think on the other side of, what's the positive side of this, right? Like, what could have been done differently? And if you are a business provider, a business owner, or a service provider or a consultant, whatever your role is, right, as far as like delivering on something, when you hear, there's nothing that's worse than someone just like criticizing you, hating on you, or whatever the thing is, but they're not giving you solutions. Like for me, I'm not interested in your criticism unless you have something actually to contribute, right? And it's not personal, it's just in principle, right? Like it just like, if you don't have something to add to make me better, then there's no balance there, right? You're just here to cut people down. So the Rant and the Rave is really an opportunity for you to hear stories, my own journey, my own personal stories, and also case study examples of situations that include less than best service in some cases, but also on the other side of it, what can be done differently to add that extra spice. Now, what's the big deal about this? Why does it even matter? Well, here's why it matters. If you haven't heard me talk about, I know I also did a podcast on this, the new economy, right? When I say the new economy, I'm not talking about like something that's recent. I'm talking about like based on a thesis that I wrote back in 2003, right? And the evolution of that new economy. So like we're in another cycle of that new economy that I wrote about and other thought leaders and experts have written about. In this day and age, I believe that you who are watching this, depending on where in the spectrum of the four quadrants of cash flow you're in, whether you're an employee or you're a small business owner, you're a sole proprietor, right? Small business owner, or a business owner, right? Like you own a system, right? And you own a business, right? And you get revenue from that, or you're an investor, right? Depending on where you are, I'd say, if you're in the E quadrant or the small business owner quadrant or the even business owner quadrant, it's important to understand what's costing you money, right? Or what's going to cost you money, what's costing your business money. So if you're an employee, there's behaviors that you're engaged in that are, depending on how close you are to the bottom line of your organization, that are costing your business money, right? And as a result, you're going to get fired, or you're going to get let go, or you're going to be the first to be cut, right? So if you don't improve on these behaviors, if you don't understand what customers are ranting and, right, even when they don't know how to rave, right? If you don't understand how to think or hear stories about what to do differently that will have your company be raved about, right? And that goes for you as an employee, and it goes for you as a small business owner, and goes for you as a business owner. And even in some cases, even as an investor, right? You want to know, like, what's the winning formula? Like, what makes the organizations that you're going to invest in win? If you don't really understand that, if you're not close to that, then of course you're vulnerable to just losing a lot of money, right? Depending on whether that's your income, whether that's your investment, or whatever it might be, right? In those monetary forms. So that being said, listen to the series, right? Like begin to kind of get familiar with the Rant and the Rave series. I'm telling you, there's some insightful things that I'm talking about there that you are not going to regret knowing, or at least being reminded about. Okay. My most recent story is about a cab driver who lost, I'd say 38%, a 38% tip, because he did this one annoying thing, right? And I'm sure you've experienced it. You hate it when it's done to you. And, but I don't know if they were aware that they did it, okay? But if you're aware of this thing that cab driver did, you could save your business a lot of money, okay? So, so like I said, I'll leave that information. Dr. Fortune is in the building. Good to see you. Good to see you. Let me wave. Dr. Fortune, another Bodhisattva in the building. Good to see you. So that's that, right? That's my plug about the Rant and the Rave series, and how one particular annoying thing that happened that cost this cab driver some money. And if you're an Uber, or, sort of gig economy person, there's lessons there too. All right, so now the next thing I just want to touch on, and then I'm out of your life, right, for today. 4 annoying things that you didn't know that you're probably doing that's costing you clients, right, and return and repeat business in some way, shape, or form. Some of you, depending on what kind of direction you're going in, you either have continuity income, as in like there's a subscription that your client has with you, right, where they are paying every month. Some of you have like one time, like, hey, you charge a premium for your business fees or your consulting fee, and people, they win, or ideally, hopefully win inside of your business model, and you charge them, a couple $1,000s, and they're on their way. Or you have something that's like an annual tuition, if you have a teaching program or a course of some sort. There's all kinds of different models, right? And what I want to talk about are the four annoying things that you didn't know that are costing you business, or going to cost you business if you're not aware, right? So I just realized there's some glare that comes out when I turn my head this way. So here are what those 4 annoying things are that you're if you're not already doing them, right? These 4 annoying things. If you're doing them, stop it, okay? If you're not doing them, I'm sharing this with you so that you don't do them, right? So you can save yourself some pain and some suffering. And if you're somewhere in between, not sure, whatever the situation is, there's some room to learn right now, okay? So let's talk about it. So one of the things that you're probably doing that's annoying your customers, right, or deterring them from coming back and doing more business with you, is that you are inconsistent in providing and delivering on service, okay? What am I talking about? What do I mean by this? So the example, right, and I'll kind of give it away a little bit, right, in the Rant and the Rave podcast that I just did, is the illustration of a cab driver that I give you a little bit of background story. The cab driver that I entered the vehicle of was someone. So I was pushing a cart, right, and it had like these flooring, like huge, like flooring pieces, right. Each box, I don't even know what the weight of it was, but it was like I'd kind of like gotten over my head, right. So I was pushing this cart down the street, and I'm coming to like a spot where I'm like, okay, I'm not gonna be able to get this on the bus, right? And so cab driver pulls by, and he's got, I don't want to ruin it, right? Because the story's just too good. You got to go to the podcast to listen to it. But fast forward, he started to assist at the beginning, right? With, being, I thought, a thoughtful driver who, hey, what's happening? How can I help, right? To, at the end, by the end of the ride, not showing up with the same level of enthusiasm, right, and support that he started the ride off with, okay? So I won't ruin everything in between, right, as far as the story is concerned, but you see, like, from beginning to the end, there was an inconsistency, right? And I bet that some of your clients or your customers, when they don't come back, when they don't return your calls, it's because you started out here as far as the level of service you offer or provided, right? And they really felt like, oh, this person's here to help. And at the end of it, you either didn't respond to calls, didn't respond to emails, didn't fill in the blank, right? Like you weren't as enthusiastic either after you got their money, right? You didn't like show up with the same passion, with the same focus, with the same intensity. So inconsistency in service will cost you, period, right? I dare you, right, to prove that wrong, right? If you want some longevity, okay? And I think we've all been there, right? We've all been there where there's inconsistent service. So that's one annoying thing that is costing you money. And you've got to really be able to look at your business and look at like, well, what are the annoying, like, do I do that, right? Is the minute that the client pays me, am I like less interested in helping them the same way that I was when I was, getting them into the business, right? And on the digital marketing side, right? Like that's from your lead magnet was referred to your lead magnet, the thing that people opt in to get, right? And all the promises you make there as far as like, or the level of attention that you provide there down to the end, like you just got to be consistent all the way. Okay, that's one annoying thing that's going on. All right, the second thing that's annoying that's going on is you have a situation where there's rigidity in your business, okay? There's no personalization. I'm going to give you an example. Let's walk and talk for a second, okay? Here's what I mean. So, if you follow me here, okay, I'm going to show you something. This is going to let me, so I want you to look here, all right? I'm traveling now for a second, right? And so you can see I'm at my point of travel. So you see like all these options, right? Like when people are approaching your business, they're looking at all these options. They're looking like, wow, this is amazing. This is beautiful. It looks like they just redid this whole, section of the airport. It's just amazing, right? But here, watch this. So now there's these digital experience moments, right, where someone can press and get something to drink, get something to eat. But I remember when I came and I sat down today, getting to one of these chairs, right? See this chair here. And you know how like when you get into a seat and there's that moment where like you get into the seat and you move the chair forward to get to your sweet spot, right? You get to that sweet spot and then you're like, I'm ready to order, right? You know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about. That moment where you just feel like, I'm ready to eat, right? Now watch this. When you get to this seat, you can't move it. You see this right here? You see that it's screwed to the ground, right? What does that mean that this chair is screwed to the ground? It means I can't move it to the left. Look, I'm going to show you. Look, can't move it to the left, right? Can't move it forward. Okay? Just, you can't personalize that, right? That moment that a customer or a client is looking for to just feel like, this is for them, right? I'm trying to see if somebody's on here. Okay. That moment where you want to feel at home, right, before you order something is missing. That customization, that personalization is gone. And in your business, in your product offering, people are looking for that moment. They're looking for that, I'm in the right place at the right time with the right person experience. Let me tell you, that chair experience, when I sat down, I didn't have that. I felt like, okay, I am one of however many millions of travelers, and there's no intimate connection, right? I'm not, as people say, I'm not feeling this, right? So that's another annoying thing that you're doing, might be doing, or in danger of doing, and if you're already doing it, cut it out. That's killing off your possibility of having repeat business. Third thing that you're doing that's annoying, okay? Problem-solving skills. Now, I've got a podcast that I need to produce on this, but problem-solving skills. You don't solve people's problems. So when people come to you and they're buying your product, they are coming to you because they want a problem solved, right? They want, let me get back situated here, right? They're coming to you because they want a problem solved, okay? And one of the things that happens is issues come up, right? So if you've ever been, I mean, how many times have had issue with your cable, issue with your phone, issue with your laptop, issue with something digital, okay? And then you call the company, and you know, they ask you, hey, you know, have you tried this and have you tried that? You're like, yeah, I've tried all of those things. That's why I'm on the phone with y'all, right? And it sounds like the person you're talking to doesn't have like any creative solutions, right, to like assist you, right? And at that point, how are you feeling? You're feeling like frustrated, pissed off. You're like, why do I pay you guys my money, right? And then they on top of that, they act like that there isn't that you're the problem. Okay, so I want to give you a perfect illustration. Again, I can't spoil the podcast. I just can't do it. I can't do it. But I'm gonna give you just as best as I have so far. An add-on to that is that at the end of the day, what customers are looking for, right, is for you to be the solution to their pain, right? And when they call you, right, if there's an issue, let's say you have a online teaching course, right? You know, I have an online course, right? When people call and they say, hey, I'm having a hard time logging in, right? And I have my assistant working with them, and they say, hey, I'm having trouble, right? What they want is for my assistant to like take that problem away, right? To creatively say, all right, let's try this, let's try this, let's try this. They want to feel like this assistant is doing everything in their power to think outside the box, right? When everything that is supposed to be done, have you turned the computer on, have you turned the computer off, have you pressed reset, restart, all this stuff. Like they want to feel like you are relentless at solving their problem, right? That you know, unfortunately, that you're willing to do whatever it takes. Stay up at night to solve their problem, right? Now, ideally, you don't have to, right, do that. But that spirit of you think outside the box when issues come up, right? They want to trust you for that. If you don't deliver on that, if you're not that kind of service provider, right? Or you don't have some concierge component or an assistant who can do that, who can be a problem solver when issues come up, you're just asking for trouble, right? Because nobody's coming back to you after that experience, right? How many people have had that experience, right? Tell me I'm making that up. All right, so problem solving skills, right? If you lack problem solving skills, you are asking for trouble, right? In your business, in your systems, especially when you have an interface like having an assistant or a service center or whatever it is. The last thing, and I'll leave y'all with this, the last annoying thing that you're probably doing with your clients is this, okay? All right, so here's the last annoying thing that you're doing right now, okay? All right, okay. The last annoying thing that you're doing with your client right now is, Tony, Bevalakwa. Good to see you, man. Thanks for joining. So the last annoying thing that you're doing with your clients is this. And Tony, you know what? If you are up for it, man, I think I might see if I can invite you to kind of help me with this last piece, right? Are you ready? Give some air time. Yeah. Let me see if I can get Tony. Tony is a health and fitness. He's my fellow. Let me see. Bring Tony on camera. Tony, send me a message. Like, are you good? Can I kind of big you up a little bit in your program? Right? Just send me a message because I can loop you in on this last point that I wanted to make about annoying things that we're doing as entrepreneurs. You're at a stoplight. Okay. Now, Tony, you're at a stoplight and you're watching my Facebook Live? Oh, goodness gracious. You gotta love it. Hopefully you got one of those hands-free phone things. All right, well, cool. Well, look, I would love to have you on a future live, man, because I think there's some key things that I'm sharing that I think you can also definitely echo and speak to. So this last annoying thing is what I call product impotence. That's right. That's right. Product impotence. What do I mean by product impotence? Hey, so here's what I mean by product impotence. All right, so your product has to perform, right? And your product has to perform. And if it does not do what it's supposed to do, you have a serious situation of product impotence, okay? Now, if it promises relief, if it promises peace of mind, if it promises 18 pounds lighter, if it promises simplicity in dieting, if it promises, just whatever it is, right? Like a relief of some kind of annoyance on the client side, right? Like, you're in the business of relieving people's pain and suffering in some way, shape, or form. If it promises to do any of these things and it does not deliver on it, you have a client that is annoyed and wants their money back, right? You do. You have a client that's annoyed, frustrated, pissed off, and now suspicious about whether or not you are the real deal or not. Right? Tell me I'm lying. Right? Where's the lie, as I like to say, right? Fight me, right? As the meme says, right? If it doesn't deliver, why should they return? And that is annoying, right? How many times have you bought a product and you thought, especially in this day of disposable products where you just buy something on Amazon, right? And you buy it and it comes, someone recently had shared with me how they'd bought all these, those attachments that you're supposed to put in your car and then your phone sits in it, right? And these products, right, that ship from, certain locations in the world, they come to us. And how many times have you bought one of those products for, let's just say $8 or $10 or whatever it was? I'll give you a perfect illustration. I bought this rain suit, right? And to just walk in the rain, okay? Simple rain suit, less than $30. I bought 2 of those things. The first one tore in the crotch, right? Now, you gotta, I'm not trying to be like crude or something. Look, I'm just talking about like the pant, maybe in another, video, I'll show you. Like the rain suit is like really like baggy, right? Like there's plenty of room to move around. And I walked around, and I just heard this tear. And I'm like, what? Right? And it just tore. Fast forward, I bought another one, and I thought, you know what? It's a decent price. Maybe it was just a one-off situation. I bought the second one. Guess what it did? The same thing. Right? Fell apart. Same place, same area. Right? And then I looked at the reviews, and I thought, well, it got like, I think 4 reviews or whatever it was. And then I started reading through the reviews and I noticed some people had highlighted that, right? But in my head, when I originally looked and I saw 4 stars, I thought to myself, okay, this has got to be decent. Based on the price point, it should get the job done, right? And that's a perfect illustration of product impotence. The product didn't do what it was supposed to do. It did not perform. It did not hold up, right? And this is what your clients are dealing with, right? And if you do this annoying thing of producing product or a service, right, that doesn't do so what was it I was expecting? I was expecting to have a rain suit that protected me from the rain. Fantastic. So it did that, but would also hold up, right? And like would hold up just from walking. It wasn't like I was trying to like carry lumber into the house, into the barn or something, right? I wasn't trying to do something extraordinary in them, but just walking, right? And that took place. So anyway, that's the last for now, right? There'll be more annoying things that I'll be sharing about, but these are the things that I just want to share with you that you're doing or you are in the midst of doing, or maybe have done and you've made some corrections that are annoying, right? And are really creating a disruptive experience for your client or your customer, right? That has them not want to do any more business with you. You see, the thing that most people don't realize that it is cheaper to market and to nurture and to sell to a client that's already part of your, whether it's your email list or your client base, than to try to acquire a new one, right? And there's obvious reasons why it's cheaper, right? Because you've already paid to some extent, right, to acquire that customer. You already spent the energy, right, and the time to get them on board, right? And all you got to do is just don't screw it up. Don't screw it up by doing any of these 4 annoying things that I just mentioned, right? Can you promise me, Bowie? I promise not to annoy my customers and keep them from coming back. That's not a hard job to do, right? Promise me you will do that you will love up on your clients and not do these 4 annoying things. So you want to know what the 4 annoying things are? Let's take it from the top just to wrap up, right? 1, inconsistent service. How you show up at the beginning, as eager as you are at the beginning, right, to service your customer is also how you should show up every single step of the way till the end, okay? That's 1. Be consistent in providing the level of service, right? And the annoying thing is when you provide inconsistent service, okay? And I have a podcast based on that example. I have an illustration of that, right? Second thing, no personalization, right? I call that rigidity, right? No personalization. And I use the illustration of these chairs that you just saw me walk and show you here, that like you can't situate yourself in when you're about to order your food, okay? Like that moment is an annoying moment, okay? It's ridiculous, okay? Totally ridiculous. And there's no reason. Now, I do want to also like say one last thing about all of this. I'm coming from the perspective of that the product that you sell has got to be like a premium product, right? Like, if your product is under $500, you definitely can implement what I'm talking about. But if it's over that, like these annoying things I'm talking about, if you do these things, I'm like, I'm having like a meltdown right now. Like I'm presuming your product is a premium priced product, right? And therefore you owe it to yourself and owe it to your client to be able to produce, right? Or to create an experience that makes them feel like, think about like when you spend a couple $100 to spend a night at a hotel, right? Like you don't expect it to be like the Motel 6. So don't do that. Don't give your clients Motel 6 experiences when they're paying Ritz-Carlton prices, right? To stay, right? To work with you. Am I clear on that? Okay. So that's it. So personalization, a personal touch. I did a video on that too, and I might actually grab the video audio and add that to the podcast collection, the rant and the rave. Third, problem-solving skills, right? When your client calls you to solve a problem, something that they're running into, right? I get it. Like there's FAQs, right? There's knowledge bases, right? So, after they've gone through all of that, or in some cases you may have a chat, right? Some chat feature or whatever. At the end of the day, they want their problem to be solved when they call or contact you because they have problems, right? And if you don't sound like you're excited about solving their problem, they are not going to be excited about sticking around with you. Is that clear? Very, very, very simple. Last thing, product impotence. We talked about product impotence, and that's when your product doesn't deliver on its promises. Okay? So, so the super hearts there. All right, cool. Things that Derek, who's that? Just jumped on. Hey, Derek, good to see you, man. Thanks for joining. So product impotence. If your product doesn't deliver on what it's supposed to do, and I gave the example of, what example did I use to describe that one? Oh, my rain suit, right? I had this rain suit that I purchased on Amazon, and it tore in the same area, right? Without any extraordinary, I don't even know, use, right? Like I didn't do anything out of the ordinary with this, and it just tore. And I bought 2 of them at a certain price, right? So, so guess what? I'm never going to buy that product again, right? That company has lost my business for life. Like, and now if they try to produce something else and tell me, oh, well, this is better, da da da, I'm going to be a harder person to sell, right? And the same thing is going to happen with your clientele or your customers. So that being said, those are the 4 annoying things, right, that you're doing that's costing you future revenue, right? And maybe even present revenue, because people are like, I want my money back right now, right? So don't do those annoying things. And also, don't forget to check out the Rant and the Rave podcast series, which I just sort of officially titled and launched this past week, and enjoy that. If you have any questions, and there is an upcoming course where I do teach, and I touch on these things, but there's a course that really takes into consideration creating a frictionless process from beginning to the end to having a high revenue producing course, right? Or program or service or product if you are someone who's interested in the digital, having your business be in the digital world, right? In the digital space. There's 10 steps to that. But the upcoming course is we're pre-enrollment phase right now. So if you are interested in the next course, I'll leave information there for you, right? So that you can join the waiting list of that course that's coming up. So that's it, guys. I appreciate you. I really do. And if any of this has made sense to you, definitely leave a comment or reply. There's ways for you to reach me. Where this conversation is being had in the most intimate way is on the in the Facebook group, which is where the tribe, right? The tribe of action takers are located. So I'll give you that information. You can head over and grab that in the description below. All right, guys, appreciate you. Have a great rest of your morning. It is brighter here than it was a few moments ago when I kicked this off, and I will talk to you guys soon. Take care.